Welcome everyone to day 2 of AI Advantage Summit 2026, the recap. It's a pleasure to be with you here again today. Day 2 was extremely powerful, and there are lots of nuggets that I have to share with you as takeaways. So without much ado, let's jump into what exactly we talked about in this session. Jumping straight into the content, I'll share with you the top of the waves before we go into a little bit more granular detail. The first speaker was Dean, and the message is adapt early, think different, lead what's next. AI is the biggest shift we've seen in the world. Change your identity before the world forces it, and position yourself for the next decade. The big takeaway is your future is built by the identity you choose today. You need to begin going deeper into this world of artificial intelligence. The overarching theme is one mission, more presence, and more purpose, more you. But more you doesn't need more time from you. It needs more smarts from you to employ AI as your minion. The main takeaway from our next speaker, Dallas, who was once called the AI surfer, but now calls himself the AI commander. He talks about AI tools and automation that multiply. Leverage the right tools, automate the non-essential, focus on what matters. The overarching theme from this conference was you gotta use AI to leverage time. You have time that is lying around. And honestly, that time equates to invaluable assets. It's even more than money, because what use is money when you cannot buy the freedom? You can have all the money in the world, but it doesn't buy you freedom. But what will buy you freedom is the savviness that comes from implementing AI systems into your everyday life. So you got to understand, to leverage the right tools, you would use AI to remove friction from your day. Build automations that save hours every week. As a result of this conference, I decided to make MoClone. I decided to make MoClone, my AI agent, my fractal CEO. As opposed to doing the CEO work, listening to what Dallas shared, I decided I would make MoClone, my agent, my fractal CEO. It suddenly dawned on me, why not? Why not make MoClone my CEO so he can do all the thinking and running based on my values, my ethics, my principles, my ideas. You see, I'm both a left-brained and a right-brained person. I love the technical, but I love the creative. And MoClone, my new CEO, who has been my agent, I just didn't use him to that degree until I started listening to what Dallas was sharing, and it just makes sense. Make your agent your minion. Your agent becomes the CEO or your VP or your director, or all of them have an entire company of clones working for you in different capacities. In my technical capacities, in my business capacities, in my music capacities, I've cloned myself. And I've made MoClone my CEO, and he now knows everything that I need to achieve. But beyond that, he could come up with additional suggestions, coach me, guide me, hold me accountable. Why not tap into that power if you are a business owner or you are working at any level? Doesn't it make sense to build a company with minions working for you when you are asleep? They can come up with content ideas. They can come up with solutions. They can come up with publications based on your values, your principles, your ideas, and your history. And that's all Dallas is saying here, and he's right on the money. So shout out to Dallas for those great ideas. Build automations that save hours. Have your minions send you stuff, send you reports, send you data, send you ideas, and have them build strategy for you and for your firm. Your systems should create freedom. And the big takeaway is systems are greater than willpower. You could want all day long, but if you don't have systems in place, you are going to be treading water forever. Never get into dry land. So you got to use those systems. Automate to elevate is the key message. The next speaker was Leo, and Leo just said AI is presence, not just speed. AI can't tuck your kids in, but it can buy you the time to be there. What a profound statement. AI buys back your most valuable resource, which is time. What I like about Leo's message is you can have AI do the little things that take a lot of time. Ideas for bedtime stories, reminders to send flowers to people who are dear to you, reminders to do things for people in your life or for yourself, to hold you accountable, to ask you questions about your sleep routine, about your working out, about your meal prep, and things like that. You can use AI to do the mundane, but it's these things that are energy suckers and drainers. You can use time for what only you can do, but you can use AI to do the things that someone else could do for you. Presence is the ultimate advantage that AI affords you. And the big takeaway is freedom isn't more money. It's more time, more presence, because money cannot buy that. Money cannot buy the intentionality to spend time with your loved ones, but AI can give you that leverage. The next speaker was Dr. Arthur Brooks. The Human Advantage in the AI Age is an apt title. Technology changes fast. Human connection never goes out of style. And the general idea is to focus on character, connection, and contribution. When AI frees you, you can focus on these things. You can build relationships that compound as a result of AI giving you those freedoms. You see, a lot of times we might get obsessed with the wrong stuff, looking at AI as being giving us money. But what good is money if you do not take the actions needed to benefit from that leverage that AI is giving you? Yeah, it can give you tons of money, but if your attitude has not been renewed to think, okay, let me spend this time I would have been using to make all this money with my loved ones. I was talking about the left brain and the right brain. The left brain used for technical stuff, used for solutions to problems, a lot of problem solving. The right brain could also solve human-related relationship problems and stuff. And he gave the example about how in any relationship, there's instability because humans are unpredictable. And that's what makes relationships fun, especially for those who have a spouse or a significant other. And then he talked about how in this realm of the left brain, you got to use AI to help solve those left brain problems. Use you to develop the relationships, build the relationships, because that's the right brain stuff. Don't use AI to replace the right brain association. So focus on character, focus on connection and contribution, and build relationships that compound. And meaning and belonging are your edge. That is the human side of you that AI cannot replace. And the big takeaway is be more human, not less human. Finally, we get to our hot seat panel. And the hot seat panel, we had Dean, Dallas, Molly, we had Dr. Brooks, Ego was there as well. And there were questions and answers and real takeaways. And the top themes discussed in this section are building a repeatable AI workflow. You gotta build that workflow. So many folks not building their workflow. So many folks not taking advantage of the more agentic properties of AI. I want you to begin to think like this. Let me show you a tool that I built real quick before we jumped on. So I built the Persona Clone Alpha in this example you can see here. Let me move my book out of the way. For those of you who are creatives and you're wondering what on earth is that is a book that I wrote, which is called Suno Music Production. If you're into the world of music and production, this book will save you tons of hours, talking about saving time to be able to use it on very important stuff. So anyway, this is the Persona Clone Alpha that I built. The way a clone works, it needs to know your name, have an idea of your tagline, who you are, your vibe, your style, your family and any conflict, structure in your family, professional pillars, Who exactly are you? What's the summary of your professional experience? What are the recent wins? And what is your creative core? And what are your AI goals? When you begin to feed this into your tool of choice, and I built this with simple Gemini in minutes. I built this clone structure because now if I had a question or thoughts about how I can improve, I can simply activate my digital twin and start coaching just like that. It says, welcome back. I'm your digital double. How can we optimize your stats today? Should we tackle the grunt work, prep a bedtime story for the kids, or refine a melody? And you can tell it anything. But what you want to get to is not just use it for ideas. You want to say things like, you will now be my fractal CEO and VP of strategy for the content I create on social media. Daily, you will hold me accountable with an email. And this is the beginning, the initiation of the relationship where you're beginning to interact with your agent and you're telling your agent what your agent must do, what it will do, and how it will give you what you need. So there you have it. The creative timeout, protecting the soul. And it's beginning to give you ideas, telling you what you need to do. And this is just a very rough and ready example. If you listen more to the seminar, you hear Dean talking about how you can build your clone. You're going to use Claude and stuff like that. And Claude is a very good tool to use. But if you train your minion, your version of Gemini or GPT, you can begin in baby steps. Even all the associations of API, you may not know how to do that just yet, but you don't even need to worry. You just need to remember to go into your tool and initiate this relationship of, you're working for me every day. I need you to do this. Every Tuesday, I need you to do this. Every week on a Friday, I need you to send me this report. I need you to send me ideas. I need you to remind me about these birthdays. And you link them up with your calendars, and the entire thing can be one fluid system of time saving, as opposed to you having to do everything yourself, thinking about content yourself, creating the content yourself. This could be made very simple for you. Or if you're in the world of business and you need to write reports, how about using Claude to send you a report at such and such a time every day, every week, whenever it's required, send you ideas, clean up for you, create web pages for you on the regular. And it could be flame on, flame off. Okay, I need you to do this all the time, or I need you to do this once in a long time, or I will only ask on demand. So, my friends, you need to go beyond the just for queries mindset in AI. You need to begin to hire AI as your executive minion. Okay? So, the hot seat panel was talking about building a repeatable AI workflow, staying human in a tech-driven world, creating leverage and legacy, and scaling impact with AI. How to think long-term in a fast world. And the big takeaway here was great questions create extraordinary results. So the summary of my takeaway here is you got to let AI handle stuff that you don't need to. AI will not replace you. It should remove the weight that doesn't matter so you can focus on what truly does. Let AI sweat the small stuff, right? Remove friction. Let AI handle the repetitive. Amplify thinking. Use AI to think bigger, create better. Reclaim presence. Show up more for the people and things that matter because AI is doing the grunt work that you used to do. Create impact. Use your time, your gifts, and your purpose to build what lasts. The advantage isn't just using AI, it's using it to become more of who you are. And the future belongs to those who use AI to do more good. That is the summary of day 2. Now, I appreciate you sharing feedback with me because I know you're all busy people. You don't want to be kept here for another 40 minutes because the seminar itself was 4 hours. So I can quite understand that. But I wanted to remind you of certain tools and structures that I have built. For those of you who are really serious about this and you want to go hard, you want to go to that next level, remember that if you are a member of this channel, the AI Creatives at the aficionado level, where you have access to this tool, which I have built specifically for the AI Career Challenge. And I have day 1, which we talked about yesterday. This is day 2, and I have certain goals that I have put here for you. And all you need to do is click on it and follow through. If you follow through on these exercises, my friend, and really do them faithfully, right, you will get to a point where you've got so much information that you can feed into Claude or Gemini or GPT, and this will be the beginning of you creating your clone. As you can see here, this is dummy data that has been filled in, right? At the end of the day, you want to hit export PDF. You export the PDF. The PDF is downloaded, and when you download the PDF, it looks something like this. This is called the 90-day goal blueprint. In 90 days, I will have transitioned out of my administrative role, secured my first healthcare operations consulting client of £500 a month, such and such and such. These are all things that you are going to come up with when you follow through on the exercise on my system. But in order for this to work for you, you have to apply yourself to do it, because it's very easy to become comfortable and complacent and not want to do these exercises. But I developed this tool for those who are serious. So become a member of the channel at the aficionado level, which is the second level on this channel, AI Creatives Connect, and you will have access to this. Those of you who are already aficionados, you have access to this. Use it. And then keep on completing all the exercises, right? 90-day goals, what will stop me, my solutions in advance, my why, and then we will be feeding all of these things into Claude or Gemini or whatever your GPT is. But I want you folks to really take this up a notch. I don't want you to just stop at listening to what I have to say. I want you to take massive action and begin to get crazy results. And if you haven't listened to the full day, do listen to the full day. Now, I don't want to keep you much longer, but I wanted to give you the top of the waves of a more detailed look into what happened on day 2, okay? So day 2 was where things got real. If day 1 was about building the foundation and shifting your mindset, then we can say that day 2 was about showing you what the foundation looks like in action. As I said in the very beginning, Dean kicked things off, talked about compressing your 6-month goal into 90 days. A bigger, tighter deadline forces immediate action. Name the obstacles in advance. Doubt, overwhelm. What are your constraints? And then for each constraint, write the solution before it arrives. Coaching, accountability, AI. Pretty much get your mindset aligned to what you're going into with this new wave of AI. Attach your heart, retire your parents, be present for your kids. The why fuels the how. What does your life look like if you do not act? The cost of not acting. So these are the 5 steps he pretty much gave. And you can always pause this recording so that you can see the details. This is my challenge from what Dean shared. You got to put your 90-day goal blueprint in action. I want you to do this, right? Write your 90-day goal. Think about what could stop you. 3 solutions in advance, your why, and then finally, the cost of not acting. And honestly, I've taken massive action for myself. Dallas, the AI surfer, the AI commander now, talks about AI human harmony, the 90% 10% formula, becoming an agent commander. So Dallas is unlike any speaker you'll see at a typical AI event because he doesn't look like the kind of guy who you would think has the level of insights that he has. So he opens by asking everyone to drop a surfboard emoji in the chat and put on their AI goggles. And he said, you have to be able to see this world through a new lens. His talk is structured as a timeline, right? So number one is the experiment, right? He trained GPT as a business partner named GPT Genie, built a brand and a strategy, grew to 1 million followers in under 2 years. And then step two, he had an identity crisis. At the peak, full existential crisis, and AI was better at marketing than him. So he went through doubt and unbelief. And he asked himself, what do I want? What makes me human? And then that takes us to step three, where he developed the formula. And this is where I got my epiphany as well. He said, AI handles the things I hate: taxes, CEO tasks, being at the computer. 10% human, building, creating, surfing, getting sun, living. This ratio became his North Star. So he wants AI to handle 90% of the things he hates. And now he has that time to do what he likes. So imagine if AI is handling 90% of the things you hate doing, you now have 90% of that time to do the things you love. So this is where I decided, like he revealed, I would make my AI MoClone. I decided I would make MoClone my CEO, just like he did. So in his story, AI Genie became his CEO, rebuilt his entire business from his phone on a beach in Mexico. AI does his taxes. An agentic AI delivers a CEO brief each morning. 100% of the time he spends doing what he loves now. Because the 90%, 10% ratio, imagine if you could get that 90%. That's crazy. So as part of my challenge for what he gave, I said, design your 90%, 10% life. 10% what I love. These are the things that only you can do. And then my 90%, what AI handles, mundane tasks. What tasks do I always procrastinate on? What drains me the most in business or work? What admin, research, or repetitive work owns my time? When you begin seeing things through this lens, get AI agents to do the grunt work you hate. You become better. Leo Weinstein was a speaker who shared about the Oracle, GPT, Claude, Perplexity, and all these things. They're pretty much an oracle in your pocket. But then AI does what you ask. That's the next level. So asking it for answers is one level. Making it a genie in the bottle is the second level. And the third level is making it an agent. So the recurring theme is AI is the agent. AI holds the goal, not the steps. And then think about bits, things AI can do. Plan meals, schedule pickups, build grocery lists, and think about atoms. Only you can do these things. Hug your kids, cook the meal, have the real conversation. At least right now, AI can't cook the meal for you, right? Your clone is your first hire, and the real AI advantage is time is not money, time is love. I love flipping the switch like that. And from Leo's talk, my challenge is the have to get to transformation. Sort your day into atoms and bits. What are the things I need? Physical presence required. What are the bits that I can give to AI? The next speaker was Dr. Arthur Brooks. And like I said, the two hemispheres, you got to think about the left brain and the right brain. Left brain, complicated problems, how-to questions, analysis, efficiency, logic, and things like that. And then the right brain is for complex problems. And these are things that humans need to be involved in. Love, relationships, meaning, purpose, and so on. Know your brain, use AI for left brain. Know your heart, happiness, love. AI cannot replace you in things like that. And do more with the right brain is the general idea. As part of the challenge that I developed for Dr. Arthur Brooks' section, I said, do the happiness calibration exercise. So what are the 5 most complex planning or analytical tasks in your week? AI can help you with that. Which of my decisions are how questions? How to do it? What step comes next? AI can help you with all that stuff. But the right brain, do not use AI there. Instead, use AI to free you up to spend more time in the right brain things. Who in your life needs more of you? Why questions have you been avoiding? Why am I doing this? What actually matters to me? What relationships or spiritual practices have you been neglecting? Take those up a notch. The core thread here from Dean: a bigger goal with a tighter deadline forces action. Write your 90-day goal, your constraints, your solutions, your why, and the cost of not acting. Then trust AI to help you get there. Leo's piece: stop doing bits by hand. Every I have to in your life is an AI task. Hand it over. For Dallas, define your 10%, the things that only you can love, then ruthlessly automate the other 90%. Be brutal. And again, a shout out to Dallas, because that epiphany has set me on a trajectory of heavier agentic use. I used to get AI to make me stuff, build me stuff, but now I have it managing stuff for me, and it's going to free up more of my time. AI is a left brain tool. Happiness lives in the right brain. That's the takeaway from Dr. Arthur Brooks. So, my friends, over the past 20 plus minutes, I've been breaking down the takeaway from day 2. What a power-packed day. Take massive action, my friends. Slow down the video, okay? Bookmark it. Come back to it. This is a great breakdown to help you take things to the next level. If you haven't watched day 1 of my summary, please watch day 1. So now we have day 1 and day 2. Are you taking action? Will you make AI your agent? Will you make AI your minion? It is very, very simple. Before we go, I want to show you the simplicity involved in using AI at a level that is more like a 2. Because if you're able to effectively use AI at the level 2 as a higher level coder than you are to help you build stuff, I think the light bulb is going to come on in your head. So without much ado, let's jump into the drawing board, and I'm going to show you how to develop a few apps at lightning speed. First of all, go to gemini.google.com. When you get to gemini.google.com, I want you to give AI a couple of commands. First thing you're going to do, look carefully at the screen. You are going to choose the canvas setting in Gemini. So let's hit Tools and let's hit Canvas. The next thing I want you to do is to speak to your AI and tell it what you want. So I want it to build me a time management tool for my practice and to give me a curriculum that every week I use. Build me an app that I can use to manage my piano and keyboard rehearsal. I want to practice daily, and I also want you to give me a curriculum where I can get all my chords and my scales, CHORDS, and scales down pat on all 12 keys. Make this app using HTML so that I can use it in various browsers. Use JavaScript as well if necessary. And you can take my exact script and use that for yourself and just hit submit. What is going to happen is Gemini is going to open the development pane on the right, which we call Canvas. You are going to see this tool being built before your very eyes. And before you know it, it would have written all the code and done all the things that you're asking it to do. So seems like I'm in high demand here. I'm going to give it a second. And voila, there it is. There is a piano rehearsal manager. And that didn't take long at all. I've got a timer. It's saying I use this as a timer. You can see it's giving me a countdown, which is helpful. That's quite pragmatic. It's saying my daily focus needs to be 5-minute finger warm-ups, review 3 mastered keys. learn one new scale, and a progression drill. And the 12 key curriculum, for those of you who know what this is all about, it's giving me scales. I can mark them done or not, and chords. I can mark them done or not. And it's giving me actual scales to work on. So when I click on each scale, I see the chord, or when I click on each chord, these are chords. So when I click the chords, I can see what makes a B flat chord, what makes a D flat chord, and I can play those, and it explains the intervals, the whole tone or the semitone, which is really cool. And that's an app. And to share that app, I would just hit this and I could share that app with anyone. It's that simple. That's how easy it is for you to build apps. Let's build one more app. I need you to build me an app to develop bedtime stories along the lines of fantasy warriors in kingdoms of old, Greek mythology, and folklore. Each time I visit the app, I want to be able to generate a story, and I also want to be able to generate an image to amuse my kids and family members who are young. It's that simple. You saw me use voice to text, and now I'm hitting the enter button. And as usual, the tool knows that I want to use HTML. So what is it going to do? It's going to build me the app using HTML. There it is. And this is going to be ready before you know it. Let's see. Okay. I didn't hit enter properly. I don't think I did. Let's hit enter now. There we go. And now that I've hit enter, it is going to open up a new section in Canvas and build me an app. And you know, the thing you need to know with Canvas, the share links are all different. So it said, I'll build you a magical myth and legend storybook app. This application will allow you to choose a theme ranging from Greek mythology to medieval fantasy. It knows what to do. And I've also asked it to give me the ability to create an image. And we're going to let it cook and see what it develops very shortly. Oh, it seems like it's done. So we can select a theme, as you can see here. Let's actually make it a little bit bigger so you can see the entire app. And let's take it for a little test run here. So let's choose Medieval Warriors. Hero's name. Generate a story. And you can see that hoop going round and round. And there's a story in the rolling hills of the kingdom of glimmering shields. And then I can illustrate the story. So let's click that. So imagine, I mean, for those of you who have been through this phase of life where you need bedtime stories, I'm telling you, this could bring a lot of delight to a kid. I mean, there it is. There's the graphic. That simple. You got your story, you got a graphic, and let's say you want another story. And let's generate the story. It's going to generate a story. Give it some time, and this should be replaced with a new story. There we go. Once upon a time at the edge of a village. And then we hit illustrate the story. And boom, you're going to get an illustrated story. And you know, the crazy thing is you can automate this so you don't even need to create the character. You don't even need to go through this. But I'm showing you this is more like at a level 2 where you develop an app that can do this for you. This is also a very good use of artificial intelligence to save time so that you can focus on other things, but you still have the things that matter, okay? If you haven't tried vibe coding, I want you to look at my videos from last year's AI Advantage Summit recaps, I think on day 2 and 3 of last year. If you look on AI Creatives Connect channel, you'll find where I'm teaching you how to build full-blown apps as well. Okay. Thank you very much for joining me. I appreciate you. If you have any questions, always put them here below and I will address them as soon as I am able. But to round up, let me show you the last pieces of the presentation and you can pause the recording and see them for yourself. So we had the hot seats and real answers panel. We had Dean, Igor, Molly, and Dr. Brooks. The live attendees who asked questions, Antonella, Michael, Noah, Carl, and Angie. And here's a breakdown of the questions. Antonella, how do I get AI to draft things in my voice? I always end up rewriting everything. And that used to happen to me in the beginning until I did something similar to what is being proposed here. Ask yourself, what is my voice? Then give your AI your pattern, how you would say it, how you would do it in context. After every draft, send a second follow-up. Are you sure this sounds like me based on what I shared? And it will come back with some fixes, right? And that was shared by Igor, and Molly said, build a content checker into your process. After AI produces a first draft, run a second prompt, check this against my voice profile, what is off, and so on. Always hold it accountable, be the human in the loop. You got to train it and teach it, all right? So freeze the screen and look at the additional information I have here. Michael's question was, if I want an AI chief of staff to manage my schedule and run parts of my business, what tool and where do I build it? So Igor said you can use Claude. Right now, it's the straightest line from basic conversation to clone to agent. You do not need to code anything or switch platforms halfway through. Dean said he switched to Claude. To be quite honest, Claude is very formidable, and I have upgraded from not paying for Claude to paying for Claude because it's just mind-blowing. It is so smart, as I shared in day one. Dr. Brooks said, as these tools get better, what we will actually be searching for is more human friction, not less. The best version of an AI chief of staff is one that handles the bits so you can show up more fully for the atoms. Noah's question was, with AI moving so fast and new tools every week, how do I stay current without losing my mind? And Dean said, after about 3 months, he told his team, stop sending me options. The deeper his relationship with one AI grew, the smarter it got at filtering new tools for him. Igor said, rule, only level 3 people should chase new tools. If you're at level 1 or 2, the single most valuable thing you can do is go deeper on one platform. Molly said there is real dopamine hit from discovering something shiny and new. It feels productive, but if you're switching tools every other day, you're not building anything. Carl's question, how many AI platforms should I actually be subscribing to? Very similar question. Again, you got to go deep in one. You're going to be more productive if you go deep in one. Just like streaming services, we would all have more money and more focus if we cut down to one. So don't follow the shiny object syndrome, follow one. Angie's question, how do I get buy-in from people who are skeptical or afraid of AI? My team, my partner, my boss. And Dr. Brooks said, do not try to persuade skeptics with statistics or logic. AI fear is not primarily rational. It is emotional. The response has to be emotional too. Find what that person loves, what drains them, what do they wish they had more time for, then get a bite of AI that solves exactly that problem for them. The Indian food rule. His dad was skeptical about Indian food for years. Brooks did not lecture him. He brought him home a dish that his dad will love. And when he took the bite, it's like, where have you been my whole life? Dean says, what you focus on is what you get. If you focus on everything that could go wrong with AI, then you cannot learn to use it well. So focus on what makes AI possible. Focus on what AI makes possible. Home for dinner, launching your thing, getting your creative space back, and so on. All right. So there's the panel recap. Freeze the screen, take a look at it, but I really hope you found my recap of day 2 productive for yourself. We've been going for about 39 minutes, and I want to give you that additional 50 minutes of your time back as opposed to going a full hour. Thank you for joining me. I'll see you next time with the recap for day 3. If there's any particular questions, put them in the comments below. I'll be more than happy to answer. Thank you. Bye for now.
Charge your heart with light. You can fill my eyesight. You'll never need me. heart with light.